Very good evening to everyone present here. I'm Khushi Pandey, the host for today's session. We have amongst us Mr. Uday Pratap Singh, sir, news anchor and assistant editor of NewsX channel. Sir has completed his schooling from Doon School, Dehradun. He went to Hindu College in DU briefly before eventually graduating from University of St Andrews in Scotland with MA honours. Uday Pratap Singh sir is assistant editor of News X. He anchors their primetime debates, bulletins, and programs. Sir has worked with Headlines Today also. Uday sir has reported and covered top political stories of the country, including the 2014 and 2019 general elections and various state assemblies. Uday sir anchors and hosts the entertainment segment at NewsX, as well as has interviewed the top actors and singers of Bollywood as well as Hollywood. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Just Soul Dialogue, and thank you for that kind introduction. I'm very happy to be with you today.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, shall we begin with our session?
Yes, sure. Whenever you're ready.
Yes, sir. Sir, as I wanted to know that I wanted to ask you about your memories as a child and how was your life as a student?
Well, okay. Let me firstly start out by thanking Just Soul Dialogue and Puran for inviting me for this event and this live, Instagram live today on your Instagram page and on my Instagram page. It's great to be with you all today. Spend my Sunday with you, and because your name is just paying my ट्रिब्यूट मैं श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करना चाहता हूँ लेट जसवंत सिंह जी जसोल को who was of course a very tall politician of our country, and I'd met him personally as well, and I think we all look up to Jaswant Singh ji for what he's done, of course, for the country. Was one of the tallest leaders, so सचत नमन और मैं श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ जसवंत सिंह जी जसोल को शुरुआत में ही. And I also wish Just Soul Dialogue all the very best. I think you all have just started out your journey, so hopefully, wish it all the more success in the days and years ahead as well. Now, you asked me about school first, so yes, let's go back to school. So I studied in St. Columbus School in Delhi from KG to class 7, and then after that I went to the Doon School in Dehradun. It's a boarding school, and it only starts from class 7, so I went there. And yes, I think I had a great time. I mean, school days are school days. We always, remember them with a lot of happiness. But boarding school or hostel में तो और भी ज़्यादा मज़ा आता है. Because we are living there, we are staying there for most of the time, and you learn a lot. I think you become very independent. I think you have exposure to a lot more than say you would in a day school, be it in co-curricular activities, be it in sports, be it in a lot other things, and I think that helps you develop into the person that you are today. I think I developed my passion for speaking, public speaking, news, all of that in school, and of course I further honed that in college, and so I'm very thankful, of course, to my growing up years for shaping me into the person that I am today.
Yes, sir. Many students used to fear so much many students have so much of stage fear that they used to do all the things like taking part in competitions and all the things. By that only we used to leave that fear of stage and all in the school only.
Yeah, no, it's true. You have stage fright. Stage fright I think is very normal for anyone, but you get over it. That's how you learn to conquer your fears. So in school, I remember when I acted in my first play, or I took part in my first debate, or just before or even in sports competitions, just before you're going to take to the cricket field, or just before you're going to take to the football field, those nerves are there, before a big match. and of course, also when you're just about to go on stage for a theatrical performance or a big speech that you're giving, that stage fright comes. It's very natural. It's very healthy. I think it's very healthy, and that holds you in good stead. So, a lot of people ask me, how do you do it on television? Don't you get stage fright? Don't you get conscious when you're on TV, when you're speaking on TV, when you're anchoring a show or a platform, or any program? So I said no, because there is a little bit of nervousness, but I think that's very healthy. It's not stage fright. I think it's just it's just something that keeps you going, and it's a good feeling. So it can appear very daunting at first, but all I'll say is try it out. Go for these sort of things, public speaking activities, stage fright. I'm sure you also felt nervous before your first Instagram live or first anchoring assignment, but then you get used to it, and then you get more confident, and it's fun. That it's not stage fright anymore. It becomes fun, that feeling.
Yes, as my experience, when I had moderated one guest lecture series, I was very much nervous because it was the first time. But as I've started doing, then it's a habit, and now I think I'm little. Today I was also very much nervous, but uh, it goes by the time you start doing all the things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think stage fright only comes when you're passionate about, care about something. When you get stage fright, if you weren't concerned about it or didn't care, then you wouldn't get stage fright. You would just go for it as if it's nothing big.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm back again.
Yes, sir. It was some network issue.
Yes. So this is what we have to constantly work with these days. With work from home, I think a lot of
Yes,
people have worked from home. A lot of people who are watching must be studying from home and working from home. So I think these are certain technical defects which we face on a daily basis. So it's
yes, sir.
quite. I think it's become quite used to it, and it's part and parcel now of our daily life.
Yes, sir. So now I want to move to my second question. What inspired you to pursue journalism?
Well,
I'm not audible, sir.
was basically it was a passion for news. Can you hear me?
No, sir. You're not audible. Yes, sir. Now it's fine.
I think you must. Yeah. So basically, it was a passion for new course for public speaking. So basically, I in college, so I was as you said in your, I was in Hindu college briefly. Then I graduated from St Andrews University in Scotland. Every I would get 4 months off in the summer. So it was a very long summer break. जो 4 महीने की छुट्टी दोस्तों के संग, परिवार के संग, मगर 4 महीने बहुत लंबा वक्त होता है. So 4 months was, you can divide it. So I used to divide it. 2 months I used to take off and enjoy also because it was hot. But 2 months I also used to decide to do of the year. Did you? I think I'm back now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
there used to be 2 months of the year in which I used to do an internship. I interned in different places. So I interned with a bank, with HSBC. I also did an internship Ernst and Young in marketing. In consulting. I did an internship with Coca-Cola in marketing, but I also did internships in media. So in NDTV, in CNN 18, and in Headlines Today. And after all the internships were over, when I graduated from college, then I looked back at my internships and I was like, which was I most happy in? And I think I was most happy and personally satisfied in media. That showed that I had a passion for media. And I decided to follow my heart and my gut and go for what I truly loved, as opposed to a conventional job in which maybe I would have got paid more, maybe would have been, typical, very sought after, whatever. But I think this gave me the most happiness. And every day I wake up, I want to go to work. If you don't want to go to work, that means you're not in the right profession. And I was very thankful that I had a supportive family who encouraged me to do what I believed in. So that's how I end up joining media. And I think also, I would advise this to all the youngsters who are hearing us and watching us and who will hear it, in due course on IGTV and on your Instagram page, that follow your passion. George Bernard Shaw, the famous writer, said, "Happy is a man who makes his avocation into his vocation." That means that whatever your interest is, your liking is, your passion is, your passion. Sometimes you'll succeed, sometimes you may not, but at least give it a shot. So if you're interested in music, try and
Yes.
become a musician. You may not become a musician, but give it a try. And in 21st century India, we have a lot more opportunities than there were before. With OTT platforms, with
Yes.
non-digital platforms now, with non-conventional careers taking off. You never know. Gone are the days when after college you had to become a doctor or an engineer, or one of these typical professions. Those are all very noble professions also. And you know uh, I wouldn't dissuade anyone from those professions. But if you also have an interest in something else, I wouldn't dissuade anyone from those professions. But if you also have something else, then
Yes, sir. It means we should try and we will achieve whatever you want, whatever we want, or anyone else.
yeah. So as I
Mm.
said, take up
So,
what you're interested in. It doesn't have to be that you're taking up a conventional something that your parents are first. Whatever you want to, that people should go and do.
sir, I think there is some network issue. Your voice is not clear. Sir, your voice is not clear.
Am I back? Is it better?
Sir, I'm not able to see you. You are not on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. I can.
Sir, your voice is not clear. And you are not on the screen also.
Light. Yeah, I'm back.
Yes, yes, sir.
I think this is going to keep happening. So I request all our uh, viewers to stay with us and
Yes,
don't go anywhere. Even if this happens, 30 seconds में सब ठीक हो जाएगा. I think someone is messaging, sir, IPL देख रहे थे क्या? So I promise you, no, I'm not watching IPL today. I will watch after this, but right now I'm back. I'm back. There's another message I think coming saying please bring sir back. He was saying such really nice things. Don't worry, I'm back, and I'll keep coming back even if this problem happens. Don't worry. every 30 seconds I'll refresh or something and I'll be back. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
finished my last question. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, I've learned that just we have to keep trying and we'll achieve whatever you want. But thus we have to go through all the things we should try and all. So,
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was telling you, that whatever your passion is, follow it. Or whatever your interest is, just follow it, and I'm sure things will work out eventually for you. As I said, we are in the 21st century India where unconventional careers are going. Like for instance, IPL. Someone mentioned IPL. So I have a lot of friends who were cricketers in school, and they said that if there was IPL at that time, if there was IPL 10 years back, then they may have thought of taking up cricket as a career option. So right now there are many more opportunities. So whatever be your passion, be it sports, be it public speaking, be it the outdoor, try and take up a career related to it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then you can decide on your alternative career. Then 3, 24, 25 people are switching careers. It's okay. All you need to do is have a good education. Make sure your
yes, sir.
have a backup plan, and I'm sure you'll do. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So your voice is not clear. So can you hear me? So can you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So my yes, sir. So my third question is, since you have worked in reputed news channels, what are the qualities of a reporter should have?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question. Sir left.
Yes, I'm back.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Now it's very much clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I've come.
So,
I've come out. I've come out in the outdoors, as you can see, to
yes, sir.
breathe some clean air, and also now I'm off my Wi-Fi, so I'm on my normal phone network. So I think it should work. Yeah. Please go ahead, and
Ye-
I can see the Indian flag also behind me, so that's good.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. My third question was, since you have worked in reputed news channels, what are the qualities in reporter that should have, according to you?
Okay, so a good reporter should be unbiased, of course, because you cannot take sides in the media. You should just present the news of what it is. You should let the viewer form his or her opinion. As far as a reporter is concerned, you should have a passion for news. So you should be interested in the news. You should be constantly aware of what's happening around you. So if you're reading the newspaper every morning, or you're watching news on the TV, or following the news on your phone, through digital apps, that means you have an interest for news. So you should have an interest for news, and a knowledge of the political happenings around the country. um, as far as, of course, your speaking is concerned, also you should be confident when you're speaking as well. You
Yes,
should be confident when you're speaking. If you're not confident when you're speaking, or not a public speaker, then you can what do you call it, decide to go in for print media, which means that you're good at writing. So then you
Yes.
can go for a newspaper or a print media or a digital media job. But if you're good at public speaking, if you like speaking out loud, then I would suggest going for something like
Electronic.
television media. So that's good. That's a good quality for a TV reporter, uh, and uh, and you should be sensitive also, because there are some very very emotional stories as well. Someone has died. You're covering a riot. You're covering a mass murder. You're covering a terror attack. So you need to be sensitive also. You need to pick up on certain things. You need to be alert as well. You need to be alert, as in constantly. It's a 24/7 job. Media is a
Yes.
constantly it's a 24/7 job. You have to. You can get a call at night. You can get a call in the morning. You need to constantly be on the job and alert and hardworking.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask, in nowadays, why all the reporters want to move to electronic media as compared to print media? Nowadays, print media is not that much in trend. Why everyone, every reporter, every journalist want to go to the electronic media?
So, electronic media, because, I think it's because TV has increased its popularity suddenly. So, with in the last 10 years or so, we've seen this TV boom. There's so many of electronic channels now which are broadcasting. There are so many Hindi channels, Hindi news channels. There are so many regional news channels. There are so many English TV channels, and people are watching a lot more TV than they were earlier. And people, of course, on television, there's that perception that, oh, it's very glamorous as well, because you're seen on television. People
Yes,
recognize you. You're obviously, since it's coming on television, you're obviously more visible. You can make a greater impact. Sometimes it's also instant journalism, 24/7 journalism. A newspaper will only come once a day. With TV news, you're constantly on air, on the story, etc. So it's seen a huge boom, and that's why obviously TV journalism is becoming very attractive for youngsters who are joining the profession. Also, in terms of TV also tends to be sometimes higher paying as well than print. So that's another factor. So these are reasons why people, I think, are joining TV. Also, these days anchors have become big public figures. They all have their own style, and they all have their own following. They all have their own opinion these days. So with these larger than life TV news anchors, I think the following of TV is growing a lot more than, say, print or say digital.
yes. So it means it is more glamorous and people get good fame, name, and all. That's why people are going towards electronic media, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's why people are going directly to electronic media. But as I said, that's why you need to you need to do internships. So I would advise internships to everyone, because the fact is, then you actually see how a job is inside. So it's something looks very attractive or interesting from outside, but when you're in it, when you're on the job, when you're in the office, when you're working with people who have been in the profession, then you actually find out how a profession is inside, so you can take a call of whether it's for you or not. From the outside, something can look very attractive, but when you're inside, like a movie star, for instance, from outside it looks very exciting, fame, glamour, all of that. But when you're in the profession, when you're an AD, or you're attached to a movie star, or you're attached to a movie star's manager, then you may decide that, oh, it's not as glamorous as it looks. I'm not enjoying it, and you don't want to take it up. Or then you may enjoy it even more. So
Yes.
then that's you can take a proper call or proper decision. Also, in terms of TV as well, let me tell you that yes, it looks very attractive, it looks glamorous from outside, but TV is hard work, because, as I said, 24/7 journalism. You can get a call middle of the night. You can get a call early morning that there's a story, and you've got to rush to office and start working. Election days, we work 24 hours sometimes. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
not easy either. So as I said, things can look very attractive from outside, but you need to actually be in it to figure it out whether it's for you or not. And now I think we're getting some questions as well. Let me try and answer those questions. as well. So there's someone who
Yes,
is asking,
question from
did
Roma
you directly
Singh.
start from TV? So yes, I did directly start from TV. My first job, as I was just telling someone else, in fact, earlier today, was in Headlines Today. I started out in Headlines Today channel, which is now called India Today TV. I was a news reporter, so I have been completely in TV journalism only. And then someone else is saying, how would one in journalism or a fresher in journalism manage the stress of tight deadlines? Well, tight deadlines are part and parcel of profession. The fact is that you're constantly have these deadlines in terms of sometimes print deadlines. There's a story you have to file by a certain time because the newspaper goes in for print at that time, or there's a deadline. You have to anchor a particular show at this point, so you must complete your interviews or record your interviews by then. So it's time management. I think efficient time management is what you must excel in. Manage your time effectively. Don't get stressed out. It's okay. Sometimes you'll miss the deadline. You'll get scolded by your seniors in at work, but it's okay. In terms of don't get freaked out by it. So learn the art of stress management, time management, and you'll be a good journalist. And these deadlines won't matter to you.
Yes, sir. So my next question is: it is said that journalism is full of challenges. I wanted to know what kind of challenges you have faced.
Well, the challenge of a good debate, the challenge of a good exclusive, the challenge of um, I think having a good day in the office. So constant challenges are there every day. Sometimes, yes, challenge of still looking fresh, still putting in as much energy into a telecast, even though you may be completely exhausted. There were
Yes, sir.
days, as I said, when I've had to anchor overnight. I remember, and I'll recount this case. So when the Karnataka government story was happening, the B.S. Yedurappa was going to get sworn in as the chief minister of Karnataka. The BJP did not have a solid majority, but because they were the single largest party, the governor decided to invite them to form the government. Now the fact is that the Congress and the JDS decided to challenge it in the Supreme Court. They went to
Yes,
challenge it at the Supreme Court late at night because the swearing in of the Yedurappa was in the morning. So the Chief Justice of India decided to hear the matter later at night. So the Supreme Court opened its doors at probably midnight or 1 a.m. And I was breaking that story. I was in the studio, so I anchored the whole night. The whole night, the Supreme Court worked, and the judgment or the order came out at I think 5 or 6 in the morning. So I anchored till then, and I had to stay fresh and I had to stay energetic because people were watching us the whole night. The BJP people,
yes,
Congress people, lawyers, because it was a historic case, and of course viewers who wanted to know what was happening. Were all watching. So I had to remain as energetic and as fresh as I could. So that was a big challenge as well. So I think that's how you overcome your challenges, and there are challenges every day in every profession.
yes, sir. I think there are the challenges in every profession. Everyone have to face so many challenges while growing or while struggling, while they're in struggling career and all that.
Yeah, yeah, but you must not give up.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
must
sir.
persevere. You must persevere, and I think you must take those challenges head on. So yeah, carry on and keep doing good work, and don't let anything get the better of you, is what I'd say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, in our country, sir, there's a big issue: youth unemployment. According to you, what steps can be taken by the government to reduce the unemployment?
So yes, so unemployment, of course, is a big factor in terms of this. Look, jobs need to be created. So government needs to work together with industry to create more jobs. Yes, as you said, it's very important for schemes like Narega to be continued. Where you're providing uh, daily livelihood to so many people across villages,
Yes,
and rural setups in India. But you need to ensure that there's no corruption there as well. So you need to ensure that the money is going directly, and I think that's why the Jan Dhan Yojana has been great, because that ensures that the money is going directly to people's bank account. There's no middleman in the middle who
yes, sir.
starts who the money is going to, and then he's distributing the money further. So you ensure those direct credits go to people's accounts. Also, right now is a great opportunity because after the migrant crisis, we all saw during the lockdown how people, जैसे बहुत पलायन हुआ था, लोग लोग जो हैं वो शहरों से वापस अपने गांव लौट रहे थे. So,
Yes.
we need to also translate that into an opportunity. Yes, some of those people have moved back to cities, moved back to their old jobs, because they're, they've got incentives from their employer, or once again factories have started opening and working, etc. But if people haven't as yet, if people are still scared of going back to cities, then that's a big opportunity of, of chief ministers and of state governments to ensure that there are rural opportunities available for people in their villages as well.
Yes.
It's time maybe to decongest cities. Yes, why do people move to big cities? Everyone loves to be home, but people move to bigger cities for livelihood and for employment. If you
Yes,
create
sir.
livelihood and employment in tier 2 towns and tier 3 towns and tier 4 towns and in villages, people will not move to cities in big numbers, and there won't be so much of a burden on
Yes.
infrastructure in cities as well. We're constantly talking about water crisis, about about traffic jams, etc. That's because there's so much of a, so much population, so much congestion in cities. So if you ensure livelihood, if you ensure employment in these smaller towns and villages, then people will not have to shift to cities. So I think rural employment is the need of the hour right now. Schemes should be made. Schemes are being made in certain state governments, in certain states. They need to be made in more. Need to be made in more, states as well. And yeah, I think that's what needs to be done.
Yes, sir. It means the opportunity should be provided to the people, and it will, like that only the unemployment will be reduced.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So yes, my next question is: the safety of women is very important. According to you, what are the steps can be taken by the government and society to protect the women and the girls like that?
This is a very good question and very important one. And I think, after this Hathras incident and after the
Yes,
Balrampur incident, we are all very upset as a country, and we need to do much more for women's safety. The whole country was so upset after Nirbhaya and outraged after Nirbhaya. I
yes,
personally covered it. I personally have covered that story over the years. I've interviewed Nirbhaya's parents multiple times. I've interviewed Nirbhaya's lawyer as well multiple times. Um,
yes,
there will need to be a change in mindset as well. There needs to be a change in mindset of how you bring up your children, of the values you instill in them from families to schools, from a young age. That's how society will change. Education also needs to be encouraged. You need to educate everyone with good education. Hopefully good values will come in as well. In terms of, yes, there need to be much more policing. There needs to be much more policing constantly. There need to be faster action plans. So there need to be these numbers like 100 and 101, and the response time needs to be very swift. Also, police needs to be more sensitized. So you need to be they need to react positively and be approachable. In a lot of cases, people are hesitant to call up the police because they feel scared. So
yes,
sensitization is needed of police. Also, in terms of stronger laws are needed, but the implementation of those laws is also the need of the hour. They need to be implemented. What's the point of having strong laws if they aren't implemented? So they need
yes,
to be implemented further as well. Yes, self-defense of women should also be encouraged. Self-defense classes, be it judo, karate, taekwondo, be it of course also pepper sprays. All of those need to be encouraged as well. But as I said, stronger policing, more effective policing, implementation of laws, stringent punishment, fast track courts. You can't have, a perpetrator picked up, like these Hathras perpetrators have been picked up, or the Nirbhaya perpetrators were picked up, and then their cases drag on for years. You need to have a time limit, and that time limit must be adhered to. So in that time limit, the appeals should happen in the High Court, in the Supreme Court, review should happen, and presidential pardon should all happen in that time period. It
yes, sir.
shouldn't be a time period or a fast track court of 6 months just for a lower court verdict. That should be a 6 month or 1 year trial for all courts in the country, and the complete process of presidential pardon as well. Only then will people, be, will that be a deterrent for potential rapists.
Yes, sir. Yes, totally agreed. So, my next question is: since you have been covering Bollywood for a long time, So, do you think that nepotism poses a threat to outsiders in the film industry, like Sushant Singh Rajput?
Well, I don't know if the Sushant Singh Rajput case was about nepotism or not. The fact is that that will have to be investigated further. I think there were a whole host of reasons. I personally knew Sushant Singh Rajput, and I have interviewed him. Also, you know, we cannot we cannot just say that it happened because of one reason, or because of Bria, or because of nepotism, or because of no work in the lockdown or whatever. I think it was a multiple reasons. But on the issue of nepotism, look, nepotism is there in any industry. Because the film industry is a glamorous industry, and the film industry is an industry where everyone is in the public eye. People talk about the industry much more. So as we've been seeing, there's been this whole drugs debate, the nepotism debate. This is there everywhere. What's wrong is wrong. Yes, nepotism is wrong. Yes, drugs are wrong. But it's there in every industry. So we need to clamp it out of every industry. It's not just there in film industry. It's there in every industry. And I think actually in the movie industry, yes, actors do get opportunities, like in politics also. Kin of politicians do get tickets maybe, but then
Yes,
it's the public who makes them into a star, makes them into MP or MLA. If a particular son of a politician is not effective at his job, or is not is not capable, then the public will vote him out. Like, there are many sons of political leaders who've not done well, but then there are those who managed to carry forward the legacy properly. Same in the film industry. There are those, say in the Kapoor family, or in other families, who've done well, but there are also those who haven't done well. So the fact is, nepotism is there in every industry, but it's the public who selects you, or makes you into a star or not. So don't single out the film industry, is what I'll say. But yes, nepotism as a whole is there in any industry, and uh, too much of it shouldn't be encouraged. Sometimes it's okay, because that's a profession as well. It's not that you can discourage someone. Like a politician's son, or a doctor's son shouldn't be discouraged from taking up the profession that their father was in, just because their father was in it. He may be able to make a difference as well. But as I said, it's the public, it's you, the viewer, who can decide on whether that person should be a star like their father or not, based on their own capability.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my next question is, as you were having good relations with Sushant Singh Rajput, you must be having several lifelong memories. So would you like to share some of them?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've of course I've interviewed him on multiple occasions. Um, the last time I actually interviewed him was after Chichore.
Yes,
Chichore film had released, which was a big hit, and it was based on incidentally, student suicides. And Sushant Singh's character's son in the film commits suicide, and he discourages him not to, and he nurses him back to health by saying that you're not a loser if you don't do well in one exam. So it's ironical that he's taken his own life, whereas his real life character was, of course, discouraging his son not to. So that was the last debate that I had. And it was on student pressure, and it was on his student life. He had a remember, he was also an engineer who left engineering to get into theater and films. Also, he was very fond of you know लॉर्ड शिव, यूज टू रिस्पेक्ट लॉर्ड शिव अ लॉट. भगवान शिव को वो काफ़ी मानते थे. स्पेस के बारे में वो बहुत पैशनेट थे, तो उसके बारे में चर्चा हमने की है. He was wearing a space t-shirt as well in one of my last interviews, and I remember I pointed that out, and he said, "You're the first one to point this out today, so well done." He was wearing a space and an astronaut t-shirt, and at that time he was planning a film as well, Chanda Mama Dur Ke,
yes, sir.
which later, of course, did not get made finally. But Sushant went to NASA and went
Yes,
to learn about space over there. And in fact, so that was another memory of him. Then for MS Dhoni, I remember watching the film first day, first show. The whole Daryaganj cinema hall where Delight Cinema Hall in Daryaganj where I watched it was full of people cheering and loving the film. And that really made him into a superstar. I think that movie. So that was great, and yeah, those are some memories.
okay, sir. So my next question is, do you think media trials have been impeding justice?
Do you
So
think?
my
Sorry,
voice is clear.
please repeat the question.
So I've said, do you think that media trials have been impeding justice?
Well, yes and no, because while yes, of course, look, the media's job is not to carry out a trial or pronounce a verdict on anyone, but yes, the media's job is also to present facts. So if there is a high profile case and courts, then you can't stop the media, or you shouldn't gag the media from reporting on it. But yes, media should not be pronouncing a verdict. So you can't go out and say in the Sushant Singh case that Riya Chakrabarti is guilty, or that Sushant's flatmate is guilty. You can present all sides of the story. You can present that
Yes.
these are the lacunae in the story. This is what doesn't add up. It's strange that there were two ambulances called in on that day, or this is the strange statement that Riyad Chakrabarti did not go for the funeral, or that this is what the family of Sushant is saying. So report on all sides, present all sides of the story, but don't necessarily pronounce a verdict before the judge has. Also, there are positives of media trials and negatives. So if you remember, if that there have been cases where the media has highlighted inconsistencies in the probe by a state police agency or the CBI, and then the case has got highlighted, and then it's come into pressure, and then favorable verdicts have also come. So media becomes a punching bag. Media. It's very easy to blame the media as well. That, oh, this is what you're not doing well, or this is a media trial and it's disgusting. But when there is a conviction that happens because of media, or there's a scam that is unearthed by the media, then no one praises the media either. So it's a very that's why some people call it a thankless profession. That's why some people say that the media when there's a positive media trial carried out because of a news channel, then you don't praise it enough. But when there's negative happening, so you castigate it. So I would say that there are positives and there are negatives. Media should not pronounce a verdict, but media should be allowed to report all sides of a story.
Yes, yes. So, would you like to suggest some tips to our current youth who want to be a journalist in future?
Well, yes, as I said, do an internship definitely, so you can find out how a profession is, how a news channel is, or how a print platform is, or a newspaper is. Do an internship. Follow your passion. Keep reading about the news. In college nowadays, like, look, you all are doing this Instagram live today, so I'd encourage other potential journalists also do Instagram lives. Put out, do like these mock discussions with your friends, record it, upload it on YouTube, see what kind of likes you get, see what kind of comments you get. um, I would say go for webinars, go for maybe what you call it, short-term courses in media. I never studied journalism, so in terms of media, I learned everything on the job. So there are some professions which are practical, which you learn on the job. There are some professions which can be studied, which have to be studied, like medicine, engineering. There's no way out. But journalism is something that I learned on the job. It's a practical profession. You gain hands-on experience that holds you in good stead. So yeah, and in terms of anything else, that's it. And yeah, write into me. Anyone has any further questions, write into me, message me on social media. I'm available, and I'd be happy to help or answer any questions you have as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my last question is, would you like to share any message with the youth?
Well, yes, I would just say that, follow your passion, as I said. Um,
Yes,
Devote 100% to whatever you do. Hard work is everything. You need to work hard. If you want to achieve something, you need to give it your 100%. Don't do anything half-heartedly. In terms of, if you're doing something, then give it your all. Otherwise, don't do it. I'd also say that try and serve society as much as you can. This is a time when it's a very difficult time for our country, very difficult time for many people. Because of the lockdown, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of
yes, sir.
people have taken a hit in their income. Help them, So community service is very important. I would also say that love your country. Whatever you do, you make your name proud. सलमान खान ने आई थिंक कहा था, वो अपने बिग बॉस में कहते थे वो कि अपना नाम करो तो परिवार का नाम होगा, परिवार का नाम होगा तो देश का नाम होगा. So that's you do well for yourself, and you do good, that will end up helping the country as well. So respect your family, have friends, don't take life for granted, and just do what makes you happy. Very important. This pandemic has also shown us that mental health is very important. Yesterday, I think, was World Mental Health Day. So, it's very important to do what makes you happy. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Yes, sir. Sir, now I would like to move to vote of thanks for you. So, sir,
Okay, I
I'm
think there's
beginning
some
from that.
questions
I
also.
actually,
We can answer them. A couple of questions. So
sir, yes,
I'll
sir.
just answer.
This question is
There's
with a
another
lot
question.
of journal.
How do you push yourself to cover stories you don't like much? So I think that's part and parcel of any profession. Look, there are going to be good days in office, and there are going to be boring days in office or bad days in office, but you have to
Yes,
make most of it. So yes, there may be a story I'm not very interested in, but look, it's also part of the news cycle. So
yes,
I will give it also 100%. Maybe you may not see the same kind of excitement in my voice or face as there would be in a story that I'm enjoying personally, but that doesn't mean I can't not cover it, right? So I would give that a
yes,
100% as well, and I've reported on stories as well that I may not like too much. That doesn't mean I'm doing something negative. Look, I will not say anything or do stories which prick my conscience. So I will stay true to my conscience. I will stay true to my
yes,
professional ethic. But that doesn't mean that that these stories are something that I don't like. Now
yes,
there's another person asking, when there's a sad story concerning a family, are you considerate about their emotions, or is it just another story for you? Look, yes, we journalists are also human beings, so you do get emotional. There are certain sensitivities in certain stories as well. Obviously, if you're interviewing a family of someone who's died, it's upsetting. But you have to hold your own. You have to be calm. You have to be composed.
yes,
So you can't let the emotions get over you. But yes, that doesn't mean that you be insensitive either. And then there's another person who's asking, with a lot of journalists, it's pretty easy to predict which side they're politically, ideologically inclined to. Do you think that's right, or should journalists do less activism and more news? That's a good question. I believe journalists should do more news, less activism. Journalist's job is to ask questions.
yes,
Journalist's job is to present facts and not opinion so much. You can have your own opinion, but don't let it cloud your journalism. Don't let it cloud your particular program. Don't let it cloud a particular show you're doing. But it's not bad having opinions as well. So Twitter, I think, is a platform where journalists can voice their own opinion as well. Yes, people question why are journalists putting out political points of view on Twitter, but journalists are also human beings. Journalists are also voters. So while
yes,
you don't need to be biased, or you don't need to have an opinion on a program that you're doing, but
yes,
it's okay to present your point of view on Twitter or on Facebook, because that's your personal space. And I think a lot of journalists write that retweets or tweets should not do not reflect our organization policy. But yes, these days you're seeing a lot of journalists divided on party line. There are some people who are associated with who are called BJP journalists. There's some people who are called Congress journalists. There are some people
yes,
who are called left journalists. That's not so good. But you, the viewer, have the power then. If you don't like a particular journalist or a particular channel, you've got the remote. That's your power.
yes,
Switch off
sir.
the channel, switch to another channel. You know. Also, yes, that's a very important point, that activism, yes, there's a thin line between voicing opinion and doing activism. If you're in journalism, you can't be expected to be an activist or a politician as well. If you want to switch, leave the job and go into that. There are many journalists who joined politics. Ashutosh was a recent example, who was an
Yes, sir.
editor of IBN 7 channel, and then he joined the Aam Aadmi Party. So so you can make that switch. You don't need to you don't need to not make that switch, but don't do activism or politics, of course.
Yes, sir. So I think the questions are done.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all the questions are done. Yes, sir. I would like to now go to the vote of thanks. Next question is there.
Has come. Yeah. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to message me the questions privately also, or you can message on this also. So let's
Sure.
answer this question.
Yes, sir.
How do you create a balance between rational thinking and emotional values while dealing with any case as a journalist? That's a very good question. As I said earlier, that yes, journalists are also human beings. Obviously, if there are sensitive stories, your emotions will get triggered as well, but it's important as a professional to hold your emotions, to not let that cloud your thinking, not let that cloud your reporting. You need to still be objective,
Yes.
you need to still be unbiased. You can't start crying on air, you can't get overwhelmed on air, but that doesn't mean that you're insensitive as well. If there is a family of of a girl who's been raped or someone who's died, if that person does not want to speak at that point, you shouldn't just shove your mic in that person's face. You shouldn't just force them to speak just for TRPs. You can let them be. You can come back the next day or come back the next day. Sometimes it's important for them also to put their point of view, which is why we as journalists also try and get that soundbite from them. But it's okay if you see that they're emotional. You don't need to be insensitive either. So don't be insensitive, but be rational. That's what I said. You have to think rationally, and you have to keep your emotions in kabu, but that doesn't mean you get insensitive either. So I hope
Yes.
that answers your question. Yeah.
Yes. I think
Any other
there's no.
questions you have? Any other questions you have, you can message me. Puran, if you have any a question also, you can also message on this. And yeah, any more questions, let me know.
Yes, so we will definitely, if there's any question, I'll definitely message you. Now, I would like to move to vote of thanks. I, Khushi Pandey, on behalf of Jasol Dialogue, extend a heartily gratitude to Mr. Uday Pratap Singh, sir, who honored us with this enriching session and took out time of his busy schedule. I must mention deep sense of appreciations to all the viewers are present today. Thank you so much, sir, for giving your time.
I think your colleague has just messaged also saying that she totally agrees and is satisfied with my answer. So I'll thank her. And once again, as I said, I wish Just Soul Dialogue all the very best. I'm very happy and honored that you called me today for your Instagram live session. Thank you for thinking of me. Hope you enjoyed my answers. I hope
Yes,
the viewers who logged in also enjoyed themselves and learned a bit. And for all the budding journalists out there who've also been watching, all the very best. And do well. Follow your passion, as I said. Do
yes,
well in whatever you may do. And yes, and Rajasthan has a very special place for me in my heart. And I've done a lot of reporting, a lot of professional work in Rajasthan. Lot of family and friends, of course, in Rajasthan. Spent a lot of time in the state. So it's always a pleasure being associated with any institution from Rajasthan. So thank
yes,
you all for having me. And once again, I wish Soul Dialogue all the very best. Wish Puran all the very best. And if you all want to have me at any point, please feel free to reach out, and I'm always with
yes,
you.
definitely, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.